Hello and welcome to Post-Burnout.com interviews. Post-Burnout.com is a culture website dedicated to venerating burnt-out artists the world over. My name is Aaron Kavanagh and I'm the website's founder and editor-in-chief. This is our website's podcast where we publish the full interviews from our site's articles and sometimes release exclusive episodes. In this edition of Post-Burnout.com interviews, we bring you another double feature. The first interview was recorded in September and the second last month in October. In the first half, we speak with the long-time Irish blues and rock musician Paul Sherry about his recent album Peace in Mind, the power of meditation for art, the economics of being a musician today, his work with his wife Gráinne Duffy, and why he started a solo career. Then, in the second half, we speak with the US-based Irish musician Fiona Tyndall about her recent album Éinín, Cheóil, which translates into English as Birdsong, the process of transcribing and documenting centuries-old traditional songs, making an album as Gaeilge, the years-long process of getting the album finished, the revitalisation of the Irish language, and much more. Hey Paul, can you hear me okay?
How you doing, buds?
There we go. How are you?
You're all good, buddy. How you doing?
Good, man. How are you? It's nice to meet
Great.
you.
Nice to meet you too, and thanks so much for having me on your show.
I'll do it, absolutely. I won't take up too much of your time. Let's just start with, I
Take as
guess, the
much as you want.
basic.
Yeah,
Let's start with the basic background, I guess. So you've been playing guitar since you were 16 now, if that's correct. Um,
that's right.
maybe tell people like about, how you kind of got into music and the like.
Yeah, well, Aaron, you know what? My parents were musicians. I grew up in a musical family. My mother was a singer and my father was a bass player. My mother was actually, they were in the show band. So my uh, my mom had a hit single in Ireland, One Day at a Time, all those
Okay.
years ago. So I grew up. I grew up with that. There was always music around the house, and at 15 years old, I was out of school in a van on the roads, and pretty much since then it's been rock and roll since then, my friend.
Yeah. Who were you interested in when you started playing guitar?
Do you know what, Aaron? Um, my dad started me on guitar. And I went to a guitar teacher, Tim Fitzpatrick, and he showed me a guy called Joe Satriani, and
Yeah.
and I was like, oh my God, what is this? And he said, well, this guy is, Joe Satriani is one, great rock guitar player. He practices like 10 hours a day, and this blew my mind as I was 15. So pretty much since then, I started practicing like you know 10 hours. You got into your Eddie Van Halen's, your Joe Satriani's. It was more that sort of shred, sort of rock guitar thing. But then, later when I started songwriting and singing, I, 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 I grew out of that, if that makes sense. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. They still had the biggest influence, but I took that and I more used it, you know,
As a foundation.
within songs. And yes. So
Yeah.
that was a huge thing for me, man. I put a lot of time, and I was lucky, because at about 17, I went over to the Guitar Institute in London,
Hmm.
and they were amazing. Some of the best tutors in the UK were there. So that was an incredible foundation. I came home and pretty much hit the road since then. I started playing in bands, and I've been very lucky to tour the world ever since.
Well, tell us about that then. Tell us about your career once you actually started taking off.
Yeah, you know what? We start. I've been surrounded with music my whole life. When my wife, Gráinne Duffy, I also play in her band. So between myself and her, we started playing bars around Ireland. I started off, first off, in a van with my mom and dad with the show bands.
Yeah, yeah.
We'd be going around the scene, meeting Joe Dolan and all the characters. I thought this was amazing, man. It was, it's, it, it's a tough but great life. I thought, you know what I mean? It
Hmm.
was a great introduction, in a van when you're a kid just traveling around Ireland, and a little later than that, I met my wife, Gráinne Duffy, so we played together as well. So pretty much since then we hit the bars at the start, and then started recording our own albums. I recorded my album, she recorded hers, and we've been lucky enough to play all over since then. We've been traveling all over the world with our music since then, Aaron. So yeah, that was pretty much the kickoff of how I started, and like my mom, I always say this. My mom came up to me when I had to get out of school. School was not for me, I was into art, into music, and my mom. When I was 15, I said, "Mama, I want to do this, be a professional musician." And she said, "Well, Paul, you got to be." It was the best piece of advice I ever got as a musician. You got to be good at three things if you want to become a musician. I was thinking, with practice and all that, you have to do three things. You got to no sleep, no food, and no money. And I'll tell you, that was a great introduction to being a musician.
Well, actually, let's talk about that, the economics of being a musician. So there are a lot of people now who are taking music as a hobby, hoping to kind of build their music career. At the moment, I mean, I think all musical artists are struggling. I mean, even like big artists that I
Yeah,
was speaking to who are having great opportunities still have,
yeah,
day jobs. So I was wondering, like, do you think it's feasible now to, I don't know, pay your mortgage with as a
yeah.
musician?
Do you know what, Aaron? Um, it's funny. It's with the internet, with social media, independence has never been as big. Everyone can do it by themselves, and everyone is expected to do it. You're expected to be your record label, your PR, your everything by yourself. But with that freedom and that platform, financially, you have Spotify, so you're not really getting paid.
Mm,
You're not really getting paid. So although you have a huge platform, has never been, music is pretty much free. So when you make an album, you're putting it out there. It's as good. To be honest, it's as good as free, really. Of course, you can search for things that will, you know, uh, that you need to find your way, but it's really difficult now, yes. But although promoting yourself has never been as easy, it's very difficult. And I tour all the time. I'm on the road all the time. I have a family and two kids, so I mean there's very little sleep, as you can guess.
yes.
So yeah, you could be over in the States and home and then back, and then so it's it's really come down to being on the road as much as you can for literally for your income,
Yeah.
and that's good. That's really good. But with that, I'm releasing a new album now. So with that, it's pretty much when I put it out there, I'm, the return financially from that, uh, is small. If I put it out there
Yeah.
on social media, it's small. So I mean, that's a reality. So whereas back in the '90s, even when I was starting out, if you walk into a bar, you remember this. If you walk into a bar, there was bands playing. There was bands playing. You walk into a bar in Ireland now, it's one guy sitting on a guitar, one guy or
Mhm.
girl sitting with an acoustic, and that's fantastic. Don't get me wrong. That's really great. But bands need to grow. Young lads and lassies and need to cut their teeth, need to learn how to play live, and that's become quite difficult for them because of where music is right now. It's everyone's in front of a camera as we are today. Everyone's in front of a camera playing their solos, and that's great. That's
Yeah.
wonderful. But at the end of the day, I am blessed and lucky that I grew up. with a trio rocking out in a bar to a stuffed bar. It was, I was straining my voice. I was learning how to play. Yes, all those things are out there today. Of course they exist, but they're not to the extent that they were, I believe.
Mhm. No, absolutely, and I think like yeah, it's I don't know, it's a weird time to kind of be a musician because as you said, you can kind of the reach is a lot bigger now because you can just upload something and it's across the world
Yes,
in 1 second. But
yes,
like the feasibility of it isn't adding up. I don't know where music's going to be in like 20 years or so. I
I
really
know.
have no idea.
Yeah,
I'm just fascinated by it. I guess like people
yes,
like managing to make a living off it because like it for a lot of people that'd be the dream, but it just seems like the dream is kind of like I don't know, um,
yeah.
a pipe dream.
Well, that you know what that's true in a sense. I mean, a success in the 90s or years ago was, TV was, you would be seeing or charts or that was heavy. That was seen as you're moving forward. But success today is pretty much been a full-time musician. If you're a full-time musician, that's a that's a very that's a you're doing a lot. That's a pretty big
Yeah,
feat, to what it was
yeah,
back in the day. It's a different to these days. It's a different type of success, if that makes sense.
absolutely. I want to talk about starting your solo career then. So as you mentioned, you've been playing for decades now, supporting other artists. But for yourself, I mean, like, what was kind of the impetus to kind of start your own career?
Yeah, well, you know what? I've always been playing myself. I've always been a guitar player. From day one. I've been a singer songwriter from day one, and I started out as a guitar player. Predominantly uh, playing guitar. That was my number one in my late teens, and through my late teens, I started singing, playing solo, and yeah, I cut my first record was called To the Bitter End, and it's a really blues rock, rootsy rock album, and it was like a trio. It was really in your face. So that's where I started. But that album actually, I would only sell it at shows. Back then, there was no real internet. There was no social media. There was none of that going on. So that was just sold at a show. So now I left it like that. That stays there back then, And then I went on to record an album called Songstone. That was more acoustic electric. Again, that was more me traveling into the acoustic world, with atmospheric voice and acoustic. And I played a lot of Ireland with that. I traveled abroad with that. And that was, again, I left that album. Uh, that I did not officially release that. You can only buy those two albums at the gigs, if you know what I mean. But
Yep.
then I in my I sort of you see all the meanwhile I play lead guitar and co-write with my wife as well. So I it's the Gráinne Duffy band. So I do play that and tour with that as well. So all the meanwhile they were going side by side, uh, and I sort of, when you come to a point, I sort of was a point where I needed to nearly, right, I needed to take I don't know if the break's the right word, but it just sort of, you come to a point, you go,
Initiative,
right,
perhaps.
yeah, well, I need to find I really need, I'm happy, like singing, playing and all that, I'm touring, that's all great, but it comes to a point, okay, I need to really um, find my own path. Does that make a sense?
Yeah.
You know, because you can sing and play lead guitar and do a lot of those things, and that's amazing, and you can be great at it. And but the essence need to be there. And don't get me wrong, it was really good. I was happy, but I needed to sort of step back for a little while and don't get. I was still playing and writing, but after a little while, um, I just before I wrote Let It Flow, which was about uh 37, I think. Uh I'm big into meditation and Taoism, like
What form of meditation
philosophy,
do you practice?
psychology. Sorry?
What form of meditation do you practice?
It's all, to be honest, to answer that, people ask me that question, and
Yeah,
to be honest with you, is my answer to that is meditation can be playing music.
yeah,
It can be sitting when you're sitting down. It's been present. Um, yeah, I sit down in the lotus position and circular breathing and everything like that. Of course, I do that. But I mean, been present. So I try to find like Taoism. Really, this new album's influenced by Taoism. So finding that space when you play music or connection is always where I guess we're all searching for that, really, uh,
yeah,
to a sense. That's why you listen to music. That's why you're doing that. This podcast now, where when it brings you presence. So after a while, I said, you know what? I was hugely influenced by that meditation, Taoism. So I said, I'm going to really write an album to where I'm at, to what I'm doing. So I sat down and I made myself, usually I'd be very scattered, and I'd be like, you know, a song here, song there, 10 songs here, writing with Gráinne, writing with everything. But this time I sat down and I made myself write a song a day, really focus on that, on what the subject was, positivity, meditation, that connection. And that became Let It Flow. And that again, that was my first official release. Does that make sense?
yeah,
Whereas it'll be on shops, platforms, released all worldwide. So that was then I toured that, and I toured festivals that, and I was lucky enough to tour that, around the States and UK and Europe and stuff like that. So from there led to this new album, Peace in Mind, which
yeah.
is, I'm going to plug it now. It's out on the
Absolutely.
26th of September. So everybody, don't forget the 26th of September is when Peace of Mind. Peace in Mind is out. So um, yeah, I give you the long road in that question, Aaron. But that was where this path took me.
Yeah, no, let's talk about peace of mind then. So I was listening to it, and you really do get that, I don't know, that sense of like change, the sense of like, I don't know, renewal in my mind. That was kind of the adjective I would use. There's a sense of like, I don't know, the possibility for renewal, the possibility for change, the possibility
Yeah,
that while you're still alive, anything is kind of possible. Was that the
absolutely,
intent?
absolutely, Aaron. You've absolutely hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
That's exactly what this album's about. To be honest with you, I looked at Let It Flow and Peace in Mind. I looked at these two albums like two books. They're like two books. And that's why I released this album I didn't release singles. It's just on the 26th, it's just all out there because they're two books. Uh, they're like two albums about those subjects you're just after saying, that growth, that, and in a sense, everyone can connect to that. Really, everyone connected. We're all connected, and everyone can sort of connect to that. Really, and absolutely, that's what a lot of these subjects are about uh, on this record. And I'd hope people sit down and listen to it from top to bottom because it is a story.
Hmm.
It is a growth story. It's hopefully it's a story about Let It Flow was like a healing album. It was like peace and healing. And this album's more about when you reach a level with where you're happy. At the end of the day, it's still a struggle because you're there and you're still trying to stay present with where you're at. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
So that's what this album, just what you're saying. So even with this album, it's an album of been present, but also it can be quite difficult to stay there. The song "Peace in Mind" is about that. Even when you're at your whatever word you want to use, most blissful or content, there's still things change. Still
Yeah.
things change. So in a sense, it can be. yeah, you got to find your way to get the, you got to find your way to keep staying there, you know. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
it's interesting because like, now actually I think we're seeing like a lot of like rise in things like, depression, anxiety and different
yes,
kind of mood disorders. I was wondering, do
yeah,
you think meditation would be beneficial to all? Because I've even heard some advocates say that it should be taught in schools, which I kind of agree with, like I think mindfulness or, just kind of like a moment to, I don't know, decompress can
yeah,
help with a lot of the anxieties that start early in life and then, kind of continue later in life, if that makes
absolutely.
sense.
It does make sense, absolutely. And I'm a strong believer of yes, meditation should be taught in schools, and I do believe a lot of those things, for better or for worse, start from schools.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all literally our brains are all different, and and I know, school sometimes for me was a one track, and I wasn't on that track. I wasn't on that track. I was in art. I was into art growing up. I was drawing, and back then that wasn't really fully embraced. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
And I think definitely meditation is 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 key, but also it's understanding that not been wrapped up in uh, society's system at the moment, because I think there's a lot of, I see my kids are starting school, and schools have progressed so much these days from where they're at, and that's a very positive thing. It's a really, really positive thing. They've changed a lot. Their understanding of their understanding of people's ways are different. Everyone's
Yeah.
different, so that is key to helping. And I think you for that. I always be meditation over medication. Absolutely, for sure. That is one thing that is definitely key. And
Hmm.
so I mean it's kind of a thing that you gotta it's good, like through music it's really helpful, and through doing art is a really helpful thing. Like I said, it brings you really present doing something like art or playing music. So that's something that people can have. Like you said, do you do meditation? Yeah, you do. You could draw, you can do art, you can play music. All those things are so strong. As you do your podcast, those
Hmm.
things are so important, so important to I think for everyone.
Yeah.
If that all makes sense.
No, absolutely. Because, like, I think it kind of makes you part of, I guess, this kind of sound really pretentious, perhaps, but like it makes you part of the singularity of the timeline of existence of which we're all a part, kind of, if that makes sense, rather than an
Absolutely, no, it
insular,
absolutely does.
singular
Yeah,
unit.
yeah, 100%. It brings it. Yeah, in other words, it brings us all together.
Yeah,
It
I
brings
agree.
when you're to get, I find, like bringing it back to college or school. Oh, you have to do a test. I
Yeah.
mean, one day all the pressure and the stress of that test. I
And
mean
then, like,
that's
also that
that's
seems like an evaluation of you as a person in your totality.
exactly,
Yeah.
absolutely. That brings you that you are gauged on that test.
Yeah.
I was. It is a when you think about it, it does sound. It sounds. It does sound ridiculous in ways. You are
Sounds kind of
gauged on
cruel.
that test. It's very. I know I'm not. I understand you need tests. I understand certain ways. There's two sides to the story, and I'm sure people would argue with us, and they have a right argument. There is two sides that you need to have a point to go to get somewhere, but um, so much is held with that. You have to do that test. That's it. Whereas that is absolutely not the case. I teach um, songwriting and guitar. This is what I mean. I teach songwriting and guitar to college lads and lassies, and what they come in and they're like, "Oh, I got to do this," and straight away I can see boundaries and borders built up. Oh, I can't do that. Well, I can't do. Well, I don't know. I'm not. Can you do this? And the first thing I say when they walk in for song, I said, don't ask me, can you do it? I
Just
don't
do it.
even. I'm not. Don't never ask me. There is no right or wrong in music. There is no. It's limitless,
Yeah.
and there is no right or wrong guitar. Oh, I played that note wrong. There is no such thing. No such thing. And
Yeah.
should be the same in education for people. I get it. There's a wrong answer. I understand. I'm not, you know, for want of a better word, I'm not daft. I understand in certain situations. Yes, that is wrong. Yes, that is, you have to pay that. I understand that. And believe me, I sat down 13, 14 hours a day learning, learning a solo of something. So, this is coming from someone who's looked over solos for 13-hour a day to get them like literally note perfect. Why I'm explaining that is that at the end of it, when you can see when you straight away say no, leave all that, break all that, you can see the music flowing out, the songs flowing out, the guitar playing, improvisation flowing, because there's no test, there's no that's wrong, those do not exist when I'm teaching. They do not exist. And man, you want to see the difference. You want to see the absolute color just coming out. And
Yeah.
and I know we're I'm a I'm not preaching. I'm a victim myself. The point is, I'm the same. Sometimes when I'm songwriting, or when I'm doing a solo, I'm victim to that as well. This, that, and the other. But I have to take. You never take your own advice, do you? You know.
No, no, that's the thing. Yeah, it's easy when you have the detachment, to have kind of, I guess, a more holistic approach to other people's lives, or then you do your own because you're just so like marred in your own
Yeah.
stuff.
Absolutely, absolutely, Aaron, 100%. And that being said, that's why I believe, and certainly in this day and age, with AI and a lot of those things coming in, creativity and what you're doing and I'm doing, and we're very lucky to do, this is so important. This is
Yeah.
so important, this is so important because people are now, again, going back to like the school, people are now going, oh, well, they're going to lose their jobs because a robot's going to tell them what to do. You
Mm.
know what I mean? So,
The
and
the fortunate thing is that it seems to be that the AI tech bubble is potentially on the verge of bursting, which I think would be great.
yeah, yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And my thing is, creativity and this and art. That is improvisation right now. It's there right now. So you're never really going to take that away. You know.
I have some. This is probably a poorly articulated question, so I'll try and explain the best I can. Do you think, like, it, for the people who believe in, say, like the unified field of like we're all kind of like from the same, like everything, every kind of substance in the world and every kind of atom in the world is comes from the same kind of unified field, that
Yeah.
we're all kind of part of something greater. But then, what do you think is like the kind of, I guess, the difference in people who kind of have their own individual expression, trying to find their own way in the world versus that kind of like oneness.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, I do understand that. For want of a better word, we're all really selfish to what we
Mm,
were doing. I'm doing my thing, you're doing your thing, people are doing their thing. So that is understandable, but it's also the problem.
yeah,
So I have to do my thing. Uh, you know, uh, it, if I go on stage and I play, I see everyone coming together. Uh, there's no me, you. Everyone's in the same energy, in the same field. You feel all those society coats just drop. Those
yeah.
clothes just drop. It's just everyone is together. Everyone is one. And then after the festival's over, the gig's over, we all go out and then we all return to our little, selfish jobs and
Our little
selfish.
insular bubble,
I'm
yeah.
calling it selfish, but I don't mean it in that way, if you know what I mean.
No,
But
I understand what you're
but
saying. It's more kind of like the idiosyncratic musings we all have.
Yeah, well, I mean, but then you need that but individually, my view on what you just after said uh, is yes, if you are individually, we're all in a search to be better, and that's key in this day and age. We're all in a search to be better ourselves. So that gets very clouded by society's toxicity,
Yeah,
and that gets clouded by the lies of society's toxicity as this, and you get nearly extradited when you're not going out, when you're not maybe in certain places by certain people. You can be you can be brushed aside because you're not playing their game, I guess, if that makes sense. But so, to answer your question, yeah, you try to be singularity, the best version of yourself, which is a very simple answer, but broad. But also, when you're playing music or you're doing your podcast, then you're making everyone connect, everyone understand, try to make everyone one, and that's also what we're striving for.
that's totally true. Yeah, and and even if you don't think of it on those terms, I think that's ultimately what everyone is doing it for. You know,
Absolutely,
whether they're conscious of it or not, there is this sort of want to unify with material.
absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely, no doubt about it. And it's a it can be a difficult path, but when you're true to yourself and true to what you're doing, there's no better path, and that can take a while. You can do that. You can get that in any age, in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. But somebody said this to me once, and I thought it's so true. Somebody said this to me once about life, or about a gig, or about music, or about people, or about the question. Some, you can live more in 1 hour than most people can live in their life. And that makes sense. So if you
yeah,
put more into that 1 hour,
yeah.
if you actually, if it actually be present at a gig, or right now you get it, that's living more in 1 hour. You've pretty much lived in your whole life, you know. If that, and I thought that was pretty good, you know.
That is perfect. Yeah. I
Yeah.
guess the final thing I was just going to ask you before I let you go on your day was peace of mind, your new record. If maybe you could just talk about the personnel and how it kind of came together.
Yeah, but the album itself, the recording of it, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, the album. I've been very lucky to work with Rocky O'Reilly on this record. He's an
He's great.
incredible
I've interviewed him before.
He's an incredible producer, incredible person. I really wanted to work with him, and he made the record that I've always wanted. This is the record that I've always wanted to make, and I've made that through Rocky O'Reilly. And I've been very lucky the musicians I played with was Paul McCabe, my long-time bass player, an incredible bass player, incredible. He's got it all, and I'm very lucky to play with him. Through he's just excelled on this album. And also Davy Cassidy was on the drums. Davy's an incredible drummer, probably one of the best rock drummers around. Uh, Davy played with years ago $1 Million Reload, if you remember those guys. But
Mm.
Davy's incredible. You're in for a real treat listening to his playing on this record. It's just something else. So that I got those guys. I played with Davy years ago with my first original band, Abius. So that's how I knew we didn't see each other for years, and then we connected again, and I was looking for the right drummer, and he was the perfect drummer. So that we went in the myself, Paul, Davey, and Rocky went in. Uh, we literally cut the whole album in 2 days.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Like, with which the boys did their whole parts in one day, and I came back and I did the vocals, backing vocals, guitars, all in one day. And but believe me, it took 3.5 years to make. It was a 3.5 year path to get there, but done in 2 days. It was
Well,
done
that's
up in. It
again.
was
That
done
kind
up
of
in.
goes back to what you were saying about the perception of the time.
You said it. You said
Yeah.
it. Absolutely. You said. Actually, there's a track on this a record called Meditation,
Hmm.
and I did all my tracks, and it was 20 to 6 in the evening. And the guy popped in and said, "Sorry, we're gonna have because it's a start together. it's in a place where there's other things going on. So we popped his head in and said, we're going to have to wrap it up. Not Rocky, another guy. And I had one more track to do. That's the instrumental meditation. And that was all, that was just like, right, I got to do this in one take. There was no other option. So if I haven't done that in one take, I'm gonna have to come back up to Belfast, like so I just sat down, breathe, and just it all flowed out. So for me, it's a really special. For me, it's a special record. It really is. Like I said, it's the album I always wanted to make.
Actually,
You
just one
know,
small detail, just for when I'm writing the article. Whereabouts are you based roughly?
I'm based in Castleblayney,
Okay,
Castleblayney,
perfect.
County Monaghan.
Yeah,
But we're always on the road. We're always abroad. Always abroad. But home is
home is
Castleblayney.
provisional.
I've got my family and my two kids, and yeah, that's where I am. So yeah, that's Castleblayney's actually where a lot of it used to be a big show band town years ago back in the day. So I suppose I'm yeah, this is where I ended up.
Perfect, Paul. Thanks very much for your time, man. Just the
Thank you,
last
man.
thing I'll ask, is there anything you'd like to add before we wrap up? Anything I failed to cover? And
Oh
generally, if you
no,
want to tell people about future plans and stuff like that.
no, yeah, future plans, Aaron. It's I'm touring. I've got a European tour coming up.
Cool.
I'm gigging tonight in my hometown. Actually, really excited. I'm
Oh,
playing
cool.
with
Where are you
my
playing?
I'm playing it. It's at the Harvest Time Puck the Blues Festival in Monaghan Town,
Yeah.
and I'm playing there tonight, 8 o'clock, with my full band. So I can't wait. I only play kind of once a year in my hometown. That's festival, so it's really exciting to be there and see old friends and everything and catch up.
Yep. And
I
then,
can't
sorry,
wait.
if you just want to give the details about the tour so that I can put it in for the article.
Oh yeah, do you know what? I've got a European tour in October. I
Yeah.
think I don't know the dates yet. It's a 2 week European tour. I have you know what? I'd probably email you the
Yeah,
details
that'd be perfect, man.
about
That'd be perfect.
yeah about that because I've got the tea rooms. I've got the Atlantic Sessions Festival coming up. I've got the yeah, I've got a good few Irish festivals coming up. So I can forward those on to you.
That'd be perfect, Paul. Thanks very much for your time, man. Enjoy the rest of your day. It was lovely chatting with you.
Listen, Aaron, thanks so much for having me on your show. I really appreciate it. And keep up the great work, buddy. Fantastic.
You too, man. Take care of yourself.
Thank you so much. Take care, buddy. Thank you. Thank you.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Very well. Yeah, I'm just in beautiful weather today because I actually got called out suddenly. So I'm
Oh,
doing
where
this
are
from.
you?
I'm in Stevens Green Park.
Oh, lovely, lovely. Gosh, I see the blue sky. That's
Yeah, it's very
great.
nice. You can have a look at the scenery.
Lovely. Yeah, that's
It's
gorgeous.
very fitting actually for the for
We
the.
had weather.
Whereabouts are you at the moment?
I am in Princeton, New Jersey. I'm about
Oh,
4
lovely.
miles outside Princeton, and we've had gorgeous weather this last week, really warm weather, but it's changing and the
Yes.
leaves are changing and it's not cold yet, but we're getting a bit of rain now this week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually, the weather here has been pretty good. Like, fingers crossed, I don't jinx it. But yeah, it's we're having the dark evenings. But yeah, the
Yeah, of
afternoon
course.
is kind of still nice. Yeah, but it's by 4 o'clock it'll be pitch black.
I know. I'm actually flying home this evening.
Oh, cool. So
Yeah.
what time are you leaving at? Or
I'm actually, it's a very late flight. I'm flying
yeah,
into Shannon and the flight is, it's around 11 o'clock at night.
okay.
So it's very late. I'll get in
So it
around
won't be
10.
taking you.
But no, 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 I'm no, no, I won't be rushing away. No.
Well, perfect. Let's just talk about Fanny Gill. This is a very interesting record, I think. Birdsong, obviously. I was wondering, like, maybe if you could just talk about how long it took to actually get this project together.
Sure. It took quite a while because the first thing is I came across the book with all the songs in it, and it had been in my possession, but it was in a box
Yeah,
in the basement of my house. And I came across it, and it took me a while to decide what to do. And then I contacted a musician that I'd worked with 20 years previous, and I flew home, and we had a couple of meetings. And that took time as well. You know, maybe I mightn't have seen him for 6 months, and then I'd go home and we'd talk about it and have another meeting. And so that took quite a while. And then he jumped on board and we started working. And it took longer than most people for a number of reasons. Distance was one of them, because I wanted to record all of it at home in Dublin. And so I had to take my time. And, you know, I only came home once a year, twice a year, and I had to use that time. And it worked for me because I didn't have a time frame. I didn't have to have it for any special time, you know.
Yeah.
So I was quite happy with that. I was quite happy doing my own work over here. And then when I had a chance to go home, I jumped in and started working on this project. And it was lovely to have it like that. You know, I didn't have a deadline. So it was really nice to be working slowly on it and really enjoying it. So that happened. And then COVID happened.
Yes.
No, we were out of action for quite a while because there were a couple of times when I came home and he was sick, or somebody in his household was sick, or I was somebody in my house, and we just had to, you know, shelve it.
Yeah.
Because at that time, nobody could take a chance.
Yeah, it's actually interesting, like, if you think about how scary that time actually was, because, like, before the vaccine and stuff like that, like, you know, people were really scared of it. It was like, you know, it was like getting the plague or something.
Yeah, we didn't know what the outcome was. Nobody, it was kind of like Russian roulette. Nobody knew who was going to actually get really, really sick,
Yeah.
who was going to end up with side effects or long COVID. We just didn't know. Nobody wanted to take that chance, of course. So, because of that, of course, it took more time. And then halfway through the project, I got this notion that I wanted to record an EP of Jimmy McCarthy's songs.
Yes.
So in the middle of that project, I started working on this new project, and we both kind of, oh yeah, let's do this. And we jumped in and started working on it. So we recorded and produced a lovely EP of 6 of Jimmy McCarthy's songs, and that was really nice to do. And for me, that was great because I'm performing over here in the States, and it's very difficult really to perform a whole concert in Irish.
Yeah.
So it was lovely to have these lovely songs recorded and to be able to present them and sing them, and then of course sell the CD afterwards. So, you know, that took a whole pile of time, of course. That didn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
So with all of that, I can't tell you, but you know, it took a few years. It took a few years.
Yeah, no, well, I'm guessing like it took at least 5 from conception to it being released. So when you kind of have like a final record like that you've been working on so long, because I think it's a very beautiful record. I think it's like really lovely, and my great shame is that I'm not a Gaeilge, so I was, you know, I can't, you know, I really can't like engage with the lyrics as much. But I think even
Right.
for someone who has that detachment, it's still just a lovely record. It's like you can just see the beauty in it, you know.
Thank you very much. I'm very proud of it. I'm very proud of recording a whole album in Irish, and it's my second album in Irish. So that does make me very proud, I have to say, even though there's a very niche market for it, I know that. But yeah, I'm very happy that I did it. And the songs are lovely, and the music behind them, the production is lovely, and the arrangement, you know, that Brendan Hayes arranged with me is really lovely, I have to say. And yeah, I'm very pleased to have it done. And you know, when you have all the music done, you then have to think about all the other stuff. You have to think about the artwork, the cover, the photographs, the lyrics, the song, the little songbook,
Yep.
the liner notes, you know, that go with
Yep.
it. And, you know, all of that takes time. But for me, I was very lucky that I could just sit back and do it. There was nobody kind of saying, hurry up, you have to have
Yeah.
this done by, you know, I had enough experience to know that the whole product needs to be finished at least 6 months before you even talk about it.
Yes.
And so I was able to get my ducks in a row. which made the whole release thing a lot easier.
One thing I was interested in, you mentioned that the Irish language is kind of a niche market, but I think certainly, we're seeing a real revitalization of the Irish language. A lot of artists, a lot of like popular mainstream artists are like now incorporating the Irish into their music, which I think is great. Even if the song itself is predominantly
Yeah,
in English, there's still like a verse or something that would be like
yeah,
Gaeilge.
yeah.
As a Gaeltacht yourself, do you see a revitalization of the Irish language at home? Because to me, as someone who's not, I really wish I was, because I was terrible at it in school, unfortunately.
Yeah,
And something that I wish like I had now. But I do think like certainly the generation, even just a generation younger than me, certainly are like a lot more proficient in the language. They're using it kind of in daily parlance. So do you see a revitalization of the Irish language?
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And from my point of view, so I'm living here in the States,
Hmm.
so I come across people all the time that want to learn it.
Yeah.
I come across people that speak it. They're
Yeah.
American. And for me, that's great motivation.
Yeah.
You know, um, there's a group down in Philadelphia, and it's what's it called? I can't remember now, but it's the Irish organization in Philadelphia. And I was down there, and I met a bunch of people who were American, but they were speaking Irish, and they go over every year to Ireland
Yeah.
to learn the language. And that was
Do
a
you go to
really
Gaeltacht? Yeah.
they do. They go to
Yes.
Donegal
Yeah.
every year. Every Christmas, there's a course up there, and they go there every Christmas, and their language is very fluent. So I think if you really want to do it, there's a lot of resources. So about 2 years ago, I came home and I went to Ring for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I spent the 2 weeks immersed in the language, and that sort of got me speaking it again and got, practice at speaking. And then last year, I come home every summer, by the way, for the last 3 or 4 summers. So this year in summer, I went to UCD
Hmm.
for a week. So that's very accessible. And for somebody like yourself, there's there's courses online. I'm going to go online and continue now over the winter because I just love the language. Um, and I plan on going back there, year in, year out, and just taking a week and just learning about the language, the grammar, and everything else connected with it. And that's something that would be open to you if you're in Dublin. It's very
No,
handy.
absolutely, yes.
Yeah,
I
and there's
remember like when I was doing the leaving certificate, I studied at Gaeilge on Dame.
yeah,
Yeah,
yes, and I think they're still doing courses
they
as
are.
well.
I believe so. Yes, it would
Yeah,
have been a couple of years ago now at this stage, but
yeah,
I believe they're still active. Yeah, and I think it's
yeah,
great.
yeah.
Because
So
yeah,
there are,
I've
lots
spoken
of
to people who
resources.
like. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Sorry.
No, I was just
Yeah.
saying, like, I've spoken to people who are proficient with the language, and I've kind of said, like, oh yeah, I was never very good at it in school, and it's an interesting thing. Everyone seems to say, yeah, the way the education system in Ireland does it, it's
Yeah,
not great,
yeah,
and I'm always
yeah.
like, I always think that's interesting because I'm like, well, if we all know there's a problem with how it's taught in schools, why aren't we correcting it? You know?
I know. It's a long time ago now since I was in school.
Hmm.
But I was lucky that my parents were passionate about the language, and they ran a summer school every down in the west of Clare, down in a little village called Carrigaholt. And I was very lucky that I was immersed in it. You know, otherwise I wouldn't love it as much, I'm sure.
Yeah,
So when I hear people speaking or when I speak it myself, my memories come back of my parents speaking it and singing it. So, it's ingrained into me.
yeah,
Um, I don't know if I hadn't that experience, if I would love it as much or enjoy speaking it as much.
yeah.
But
Well, no, I think your father is actually very integral to this release.
mm,
It was his work,
yeah.
it was his collection rather. And do you find like with the work you're doing now, well, specifically with this album, do you find that it's more so a matter of I guess historical documentation?
Well, it is really, yeah. I mean, the book has been archived now, and it's available to anybody. in the Irish archives. But it was a great thing that he did, really, that he just documented these songs, that he wrote them in his own hand, which is lovely, you know, for me to have in the old Irish language. And some of them he put the solfatonic beside them, so that we have, you know, a little bit of the music as well, if we
Yeah.
don't know, because you have to go researching the songs. I have to go researching them when I see them written down. I have to find out, you know, what the melody is, or what was the melody then. So it was I mean, he didn't do it for any other reason that he just loved song.
Yeah.
You know, he just decided, I do it myself, you know, when I come across new songs, I write them down, find the lyrics, I keep you know, I keep them in a different format. But that's just was what he did. That was their way of collecting and writing and all of that. But yeah, and it's lovely to have it, and there's lots more songs that I'd love to delve into and start another project. But that would be a very nice thing to do. Yeah.
Yeah, one thing when I was like reading about how this album came about and how you were documenting it, tell me if this is a fair comparison, but I was thinking of like monks translating the Bible from Aramaic.
The which?
I was thinking of like monks translating the Bible from Aramaic or something like that.
I don't,
Kind of
well,
that process
yeah,
of like
sometimes I look at them and I
translating.
say, yeah, I look at it and I say, okay, I can't even read this, let alone understand it, you know, so it takes a while to decipher it, and you have to talk to people and find people who know the songs, you know, and that's really what I'd love to do, find somebody who'd be interested in going through it and you know, letting me know what songs are really lovely, or, you know, introducing me to some of these songs that are in the book. That would be a really nice thing to do in the future.
Perfect. Yeah. Well, you've been very great for your time.
It's good to have projects.
I think so.
Yeah.
No, I think it's also good to have that documented. Like, you know, I think that's the important thing. Like, you know, like to us, like, you know, thinking back centuries is so like abstract, you know, because like we're dealing with works here that are like a couple of centuries old, and you know, it's very hard, I think, given our limited time on Earth, to actually conceptualize what that means necessarily. Even if you look at someone like Mozart and like his music still persisting, you know, 2 centuries later, it's very difficult for us to put ourselves in that time frame necessarily. It's, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, some of these songs date back 17th century, you know,
Yeah,
18th
exactly.
century. They're so old and they're so beautiful.
Um,
And they tell a story. They tell a story of our history.
yeah, that's the important thing too. It's that like it's as significant as like St. Patrick or something, you know. It's like they're documentations of a certain period of our time. If you want to have the full context of Ireland, you have to include the art that was made.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. Yeah.
I had 2 final questions for you, and I'll let you get on with your day. You were talking about performing in the States and, you know, performing at Gaeilge. Do you think that, you know, specifically, I think around the East Coast, it's very famous for like its Irish diaspora. Do you think that people are receptive and want to have that kind of connection to their heritage? And even do you find that there are people who don't have Irish ancestry who are also enthralled by it?
Yes, absolutely. People seem to really connect with the stories around the songs, and it's really
Yeah.
important to get those stories out so that your audience understands, you know, what you're saying in the song, the meaning of it. So that's really important. But they do seem to really love the sound of the language and the style of singing.
It's very beautiful language, obviously.
Yeah, I've always found very appreciative audiences over here.
Yeah, and it's a very poetic language too. It's like there's
It
so much
is.
prose, like just in common parlance, there's just so much prose in the language.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, no, I've found that audiences are very appreciative, both audiences that have Irish connections, of course. They really enjoy listening to it, and I suppose it reminds them of something in the past, you know, and their own heritage. And then it's always surprising to me, people who have no connection with the country,
Yeah.
how much they are interested in it. And I attend a lot of sessions over here, and some of the best musicians, you know, they're fantastic. They don't really have a connection with the country, but they just love the music and dove into it and play it really, really well and just love it. So that's always, that always amazes me.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
what
perfect,
made
Fiona.
you, what was your interest? How did you come to do this kind of music and not some other
I
style
think
of music?
there's a universality to that. Like you look at how many people don't, say, for example, have Hispanic ancestry, but are enthralled by flamenco
Mhm.
music. And I
Yeah,
just think if there is a universality to music that you can't necessarily get in spoken word. I think it transcends cultures. That's my opinion.
yeah. Traditional music. Yeah.
The fun thing I was going to ask you, Fiona, before I let you get on with your day is a little bit about actually how you feel the album's been doing, because it's been out for almost a month now, as we're speaking. So have you found, I guess, the time since its release?
I've had a great time. I'll tell you, I was at home for the summer and I got to do 3 launches in Dublin.
Oh, cool.
It's it's a pity I didn't know you. You could have
I know.
come
I
to.
would have went. I would have went.
Yeah. Um, and they were very successful. And the lovely thing about it was that I played with the musicians that actually play on the album.
Oh,
So I had
perfect.
superb musicians with me on stage, and that was just a lovely feeling. And I knew that I completely enjoyed it. I knew that the audience was loving it. And that was really nice. That was a lovely way to kind of launch it. And since then, I've gotten great feedback. I mean, for me, it's how's it doing? It's really about performing it and loving performing it. Um, I don't really sort of look at numbers or that kind
Sure.
of thing. It's out there, it's there forever, and I'm very proud of it. Even, when I move on to a new project, I look forward to launching it. I'm coming home to Ennis Stradfest in November. So I'll be there in Glore on November the 7th at 6:30. And I'm so looking forward to performing it in Ennis. I'm bringing the whole band with me, so I'm so looking forward to meeting them all and performing with them again. And to me, that's everything.
Yeah.
What more do you want? To me, that's everything. Yeah.
Thanks very much for your time, Fiona. Is there anything you'd like to add before we wrap up? Anything I failed to cover?
I don't think so. I'll just show you a picture of it in case somebody is looking for it.
Absolutely.
That's what it looks like.
I'll put links everywhere to where people can find it.
Okay, thank you very much. And I hope people buy it and download it. I'm just sort of getting around to putting it up on Bandcamp and my website and all of that. I should do that in the next few days so people will be able to download it successfully.
Yes. Thanks very much for your time, Fiona. It was lovely speaking
All
with you,
right.
and I hope I get to meet
Sarah,
you
thank
someday.
you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'd love that.
Thanks very much.
Okay.
Enjoy the rest of your day, and
Okay.
safe flight.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to that episode of Post-Burnout.com interviews. We're available wherever you get your podcasts, so we hope that you enjoyed and would consider subscribing, giving it a like on YouTube, or a rating anywhere else. We also have some exclusive episodes only available on Spotify, which features interviews with the likes of Kim Deal, Ron Mail of Sparks, Jacob Slater of Wonder Horse, Maria Kelly, Gavin Friday, and many more. So check those out if you're so inclined. Otherwise, thank you for listening and see you next time.